Hello there, welcome back. Today I'm going to look at Megalopolis, which is a new Francis Ford Coppola film that has come out and has reached critical disastrousness fairly quickly. It was the ambitious film that Coppola made that he self-financed, as Coppolas want to do. And it came out and it was hated by a lot of the critics, a lot of the audiences, and the studios had no interest in it. I, of course, really liked it. I thought there were some wonderful things in it. There's also some bad things in it, but the kind of ambition of it and what ultimately was saying kind of made up for the kind of weaknesses. So I didn't mind the weaknesses. It was like fine. It was like, yeah, it's an eccentric film made by a guy in his 80s who doesn't care if you don't like what he's doing. He just doesn't care, doesn't give a damn. And much rather that than a bland studio film like Red One, you know, where you look at it and go, why'd you bother? You know, I'd rather have the Mavericks do their thing. And he paid for it, so it doesn't matter. I mean, he sold his wine, he was to pay for it so he could make this film he'd been wanting to for years. And he did what he wanted to do. So it's none of your business whether it does well or not, because it's his money. And you know, he's obviously not got many years ahead of him, so he may as well do what he wants to do and just enjoy himself. And I don't think he gives a damn about his reputation either. I think he just wants to see this film made, and that's it. He just wants to see it made. So Megalopolis is a wonderful disaster in all the best ways. It's just beautiful, and there's just so much good stuff in it and so much weird stuff in it. There's no way I can get through all of it in one video, because it's not going to be a long video because it's just it's a new release. I'm trying to get people to go give it a shot, so I'm going to intentionally not say certain things. But the basic plot is Adam Driver is this guy called Caesar, who in an alternative world from our own, basically New York has become the new Rome. So it's almost like the Roman Empire has been reborn within New York, what New York was, but as New Rome. So some of the cultural things from the old Rome has come through in this new timeline, and so there's certain influences from the Italian rather than the British traditions within this culture. That's the best way to explain what New Rome is. It's like the Italian culture rather than British culture was a dominant thing. So within New Rome, Caesar's the guy who's the who's a guy running the buildings. He's a genius architect. He's had a controversy in the past because his wife died in mysterious circumstances, and the mayor, when he was a DA, thought that Caesar killed her. When it's made clear very early on, he did not. There was an accident, it wasn't anything. But Caesar's definitely self-destruct. He definitely misses his wife, and he's definitely having problems finding his way through the darkness to fulfill his destiny and actually do something for the city. That's because he has a vision for the city, because he sees a city that's basically, he's seen a world basically that's fallen into disrepair and has become cynical and has become nasty and shallow, and you know, basically interested in what can the world do for me. There's no interest in helping people see a better world. He's no interest in letting people actually exist within any kind of existence that's not depression and lauding the rich. Because it's an idea of as people still laud the rich and are mostly poor, and the rich put on massive shows to show off how great their lives are and how wonderful it is to be rich, and the poor just have to deal with it, and rebellions happen but are quickly squashed, and the rich basically see the poor as playthings for their egos. So and basically Adam Driver's character wants to change that. He looks at that and says, this is an abomination of the human spirit. I want something better for the human spirit. But he has to kind of deal with his demons, which he does in the first half of the film, is where he goes to excess and causes trouble for himself. And he's got lots of people who are out to get him. Like the mayor hates him. He thinks he killed his wife, and he didn't. But he also hates his philosophy. He thinks it's evil to actually, that it's going to lead to much more pain for people. And the old way, while imperfect, is still better than any new way, which would cause havoc. But really, the mayor doesn't want to change. The mayor does not want to change. He's quite happy with the status quo, or he's content with it. He understands that it's what it is. It's the way human beings are, and he's not seen a bigger picture of where can we go if we get beyond this kind of horrible state of like basically seeing people as things, you know, that you can manipulate, and basically seeing images, shallow images, as the only form of communication you can have. And you have lots of people within the film who represent that. So you've got Aubrey Plaza as this person who's in the media who marries a rich guy played by John Voight, and she's like, she's obsessed by Caesar, and when he rejects her because he can see the shallowness within her, she's fun but she's shallow, and she hates that and she wants to ruin him, and she can't get beyond her own ego. So that's one person who sees the world as a plaything for her ego. Then you have Shia LaBeouf as this guy who's the grandson of John Voight, and he's trying to be an artist, chaotician guy who causes chaos. He'll dress in absurd ways, he'll go to parties, he'll try and do things that are outrageous, but no one's really cares. So he creates rebellions. He tries to set up Caesar, who he's jealous of, who's definitely jealous of, as someone who would sleep with a young woman who's underage, which doesn't work because tons of the girls who the image said showed him sleeping with, and turns out he didn't. It was a fake, and also the girl's actually 23, and things like that are. He's trying, and then as each thing doesn't work for him, he becomes more and more bitter, which leads to him trying to manipulate the working classes and their frustrations. So Driver's dealing with those two. He's dealing with He's dealing with the mayor, who makes it worse. He falls in love with the mayor's daughter and marries her, and they have a child together. And the mayor's very torn. He loves his daughter, but he hates this guy, and he hates the fact that his daughter believes in the guy as well. And it's like Natalie Emmanuel plays the daughter, and her and Driver are the main couple in the film. Now, they don't have amazing chemistry together, but they are both enjoyable in the parts, and it's a sense of the film is really about two people who have similar ideas. It's not about this amazing romance. It's much more about they've got similar ideas of what they want from the world, and that's what joins them together rather than the great grand romance. So she watches him self-destruct the first half, and then helps him in the second half to actually return to humanity and actually start to fulfill his ambitions no matter what they try. Now, the problems of the films are, one, that Coppola, to show this world, this alternative world, goes to extreme visually at times. I mean, he has Driver quoting Shakespeare at times during a press conference. A lot of the kind of media things feels very influenced by what he saw in the 80s, and it does feel trapped in time. It's made by a guy who's influenced by earlier culture. His idea of being being radical is something from the 60s and 70s. It's not a modern radical nature. So it is old-fashioned in that way, and you have to accept that's just his way of seeing the world. Now, you can say, oh, that's ridiculous, we wouldn't do that now. But it's like, every movement's ridiculous when you see it 20 years later. The things we think are radical now will be ridiculous in 20 years' time. And the fact that Coppola kind of knows it's ridiculous, he plays it up, but the charm of the film is he knows it's old-fashioned. He understands that. But everything, all these radical natures are old-fashioned. So, it doesn't matter, really. So that's one thing that goes against it for some audiences. It's also, it feels like it's been cut down from a longer film, and sometimes it's pretty abrupt with the progression of stories. Like Dustin Hoffman turns up and is killed early on, and the reasons for it do feel vague at times. Plus, Hoffman's not very good in this film. He's kind of De Niro as an actor who has not progressed and remained interested. He gives a performance that if you see it and don't know what films he's done in the past, you'd look at it and go, how did he get this job? You know, because he's not that good in the film. I mean, John Voight actually starts off a little weak and shaky, but he gets good as he goes along. And some of the actors like Plaza or Driver are really giving it their all. Emmanuel's giving it their all as well. A lot of them are. Giancarlo Esposito as Mayor is as usual terrific. A lot of actors are really going for it, and when you see someone not going for it, it's kind of strange. In Hoffman's case, Michelle LaBeouf's going for it too much. A lot of times, he's going way over the top. It's like a little bit less. I mean, he's better playing a guy who's a provocateur, but sometimes it's like underplaying it within the kind of madness would have been more effective than some of this sort of, over the topness. But still, I mean, he's one of those actors in the film where some scenes work and some scenes don't work, and at least he's willing to be made a fool of in the film, which is good. Like, this is not a character you should respect too much, so he is willing to play along and be made a fool of at times. And the film itself has a wonderful optimism that floats through it as it progresses, and it's always there within the film. And a sense of, it's not showing you something radical that will change the world. It's showing you to actually what the Adam Driver's character is doing is trying to create some technology to create an environment that will allow people to actually start to look towards ideals rather than cynicism, and actually try and do things that are helpful for the world rather than just be selfish. And that's what's good about the film. It's not just Coppola saying, oh, look how this guy's standing for me, look how great he is. It's much more like, no, it's a film about trying to be helpful for the world rather than to be destructive. And that's really what Driver's trying to do, rather than just doing an ego-led thing. Which probably, if Coppola had made this earlier, it might have been a more coherent film, but maybe it would have been a bit more egocentric in portraying the lead character. By the time he's in his 80s making this film, he understands the pitfalls of lead character and of egotism a lot bit more. So the character genuinely has like an optimism to him that does work really well for the film. So I'd recommend this film. Understand you're seeing an eccentric film by a director who doesn't care. He's going to do his film, and there's probably bits of it you're going to go, why'd you do that? But it's worth it for the overall vision. It is a unique vision, and if you have patience to go through some of the awkward elements, it is worth it. But a lot of people don't, really. A lot of people just would rather be cynical and snide and just berate. I find that boring, so I'm happy to defend Megalopolis to the last. So I say go Megalopolis, go. It's beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will go and support Megalopolis if you feel up to it. Bye for now.